So as of late, there's been an epidemic on YouTube, one that I've been studying pretty closely because, in all honesty, I think it's pretty cool. So if you don't know what LARPing is, or at least the more common usage of the term on today's internet, because it's basically, the definition has effectively changed entirely, but that's a whole different discussion. It's basically, in this context, another word for impersonation, or pretending to be someone or something that you're not. Over the last few weeks, there's been floods of larptubers, as I call them, popping up on YouTube and impersonating famous YouTubers. Like if there's a YouTuber that's popular, especially in like the early to mid 2010s, and not early to mid, like basically the 2010s, the entire decade, there's more than likely a LARP channel for them. At least to my knowledge, this all started about a month ago with Larpplier, a guy who looks like vaguely enough like Markiplier, at least from like 2012 or whenever the hell he started doing YouTube. With a pretty similar cadence, posting similar Let's Play gaming sort of content that Mark posted back in the day. To his credit, within the like little under a month at the time of recording this, he's actually gotten over 100,000 subs, which I think is really neat, and I think that he in general is really neat, because beyond the fake Markiplier gimmick that he has going on, he's very clearly passionate about doing YouTube, and especially that early era of Let's Play gaming. I want to say like 2012 to like 2018 when post-irony took over on YouTube. But he's got like a 9-minute video on his channel where he talks about like his mentality about doing YouTube that I highly recommend, and like I'll talk about it a little more later on, but in that sort of way, it hits close to home for me, some of the things that he talks about there. As it turns out, Larpplier was patient zero of LARPtube, as I call it, as his existence effectively spawned more and more clones of other popular YouTubers, especially those who were huge in like the mid-2010s. To my surprise, there's a few LARPcepticeyes, but the biggest one that I could find has like 3,000 subscribers, and I think he really encapsulates the vibe of early Jacksepticeye, like early Jacksepticeye, even down to like the font that he used to use for his videos in his thumbnails. I went back and looked at Jacksepticeye's like really old videos to try and see how well the LARP version of him captured his energy like the Markiplier one does, but I ended up going like way too far back, and I found this absolute gem.
We just bought ourselves a new gun. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, check out that high scope silent bitch.
Like, wow, that is such a drastic difference to how he was acting even like a year later. It's so wild to me. But that's besides the point. There's just so many of these LARPtubers out there for probably all your favorite old gaming YouTubers if you're anywhere around my age. Like there's LARP versions of Vanoss, DanTDM, PewDiePie, Tobuscus, like the list goes on and on and on. And it's just really fun to see these videos and go through all of these channels because you can see how like heavily influenced these people are by the YouTubers that they're imitating, and it's in a way that's like genuinely wholesome. Like I clicked onto the first video for the Tobuscus LARPer, and like my fucking jaw dropped. The cadence, the voice, the vibe, they were all just there in spades, and nostalgia just hit me like a ton of bricks. Man, Tobuscus, that's a topic for another day that will probably never come, because I don't want him to call me slurs on Twitter. Point being, these LARPtubers are all people that are, at least I can only assume, in around their like late teens, early 20s. The types like myself that were so influenced and moved by these YouTubers back when they were kids, and it gets to a point where it's more like an homage than anything, or like a callback, and I guess it's a case of like imitation is the finest form of flattery, or whatever. But either way, I just think it's so cool, especially in a day and age where the entire landscape of this platform is pretty much unrecognizable compared to what it used to be and what these LARPtubers are calling back to. But if you thought this epidemic only extended to 2010s gaming YouTubers, that's where you're wrong. Remember those old drama channels, the Leafies and Keemstars that filled the internet with the absolute worst kind of toxic bile you can imagine? Well, we have better versions of them now in the form of Larpy is here and LARP alert. The latter is actually really funny, because the guy LARPing Keemstar has the whole setup, like, shittily made out of paper, and that big-ass fake beard. Like, that's commitment to the bit that I really do appreciate, and I do wish some of the LARPtubers, the other ones, did. I can't really speak on the accuracy of channels like these because I never involved myself in that side of YouTube. I mostly just stuck in my little gaming corner during my adolescence, but if they're anywhere near as good of impersonators as the gaming LARPtubers are, that's a huge win for whoever actually watched that sort of content when they were younger. No judgment. A little judgment, but that's besides the point. Most of it falls in between those two categories of content, but I'm sure there's other LARPtubers out there for other niches if you look hard enough. In fact, the last channel I want to talk about before I wrap this up is the one that made me decide to talk about this in the first place and sit down and record this video. This, my friends, is the LARPing Tombstone, who, as of recording this, only have one video. I guess technically two, but the second one is just like saying, hey, I don't use AI for this. That video being a parody of KSI's terrible song, Thick of It, and they've already amassed over 500,000 subscribers because look at this. Like, isn't that awesome? That's so good that the Living Tombstone themselves acknowledge them in the comments, which, to my knowledge, is the only other instance of that happening, like the real YouTuber acknowledging the LARPer, besides Markiplier himself. It's actually to the point where, like, people thought that the Living Tombstone, like, that was the Living Tombstone just fucking around and, like, getting in on the joke, which is super cool for the LARPing Tombstone. Like, that is a testament to some, like, really good creative ability and talent there. From my own personal perspective, I've really been enjoying seeing all of this, especially channels like Larpiplier that blow up in such a unique way. Like, even putting aside the LARP gimmick, these gaming channels are basically bringing back mid-2010s Let's Play YouTubers and that style of gaming content. And if I can go on a bit of a tangent, it legitimately makes me so happy. I don't really make it a secret that I've wanted to do YouTube for basically my entire life. Pretty much from the moment that I first opened the website, it's been my wildest dream. Most of it is gone and buried by now. I've been trying my hand at the whole YouTube thing for a little over 2 years now, and obviously I'm not in any sort of category where I can say that I'm there, if that makes sense. I know that's a little wordy, probably doesn't make any sense, but it's still something that I'm probably too passionate about for my own good, and something I can't really see myself throwing in the towel on, despite how many things have interrupted it. All that to say, it's been awesome to see so many people who are clearly passionate about being YouTubers, quote-unquote make it, and ride the wave of this trend, especially considering the medium that they're using to do so. Like, I grew up on so many of the YouTubers that people are impersonating in this trend, like the Markipliers, the Jacksepticeye's, the DanTDMs of the world. And if something like this is what it takes to bring traditional, like, 2010s-esque Let's Plays back into the zeitgeist of gaming YouTube, I would be ecstatic. That being said, go subscribe to my main channel, so I can have an excuse to start posting consistently again and figure out what the hell I'm doing over there. That's basically all I have to say about the LARPtuber trend. It's seriously the most interesting thing I've seen on the internet in a good while, and like I said, if it means we're bringing back Let's Plays and 2010s YouTube in general, I am all for it. But that's gonna be all from me for now. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you subscribed the video, leave a subscribe. Let me know what else you want to see me talk about on the channel. And until next time, I'm out of here.